It's Cliffy. Cliffy takes it. Look at the gap. 0-0-1. It does not get any closer than that. MaxiLuca, that is an insanely close top three. So Cliffy takes pole for Renault by the narrowest of margins from Greeny's Ferrari. Williams in third of MaxiLuca. Pine in fourth. Good qualifying for him. Two Toro Rossos in fifth and sixth. That's where they want to be. And then Joel, Paudie, Oogie and Jamie did still end up in 10th despite the retirements. Oh, it is raining. And looks considerably heavier than it was in qualifying, but this may go to dry running later. It looks fairly bright, but that was a very dramatic end to qualifying. But as someone said in the chat, Frizzo, Greeny must be absolutely fuming to have lost that pole position by such a margin. He had it for like mere seconds and then lost it by 0.001 of a second. That's, I believe, the closest margin of any qualifying session this season. Let's hope the race is just as good. We're about to get underway here at Spa-Francorchamps for 22 laps of the PSGL F1 Grand Prix. 5 red lights here in front of us. The Renault first, Ferrari second, Williams third, and we're off. It looks like a decent start from the Renault driver. MaxiLuca's making a move. Oh, and Greeny dives down the inside, but he goes way wide. I thought he took too much space, so Greeny's lost 3 places already. So we go on board with the Sauber of Joel as we run up El Rouge for the first time. Is everyone going to get through okay? Oh, and there's running wide ahead. I believe that is, yeah, that's Big C, I believe. It looks like everybody got through okay, so let's switch it. Oh, and someone's gone off. The MaxiLuca making a challenge for the lead immediately, and Pine's up to third, but can he challenge for second as well as they go out of Le Combe and down towards Ravage? And Louis has just dived down the inside of Nick Pine to move up to fourth. Shortbread with a 10-second penalty straight away for corner cutting. I'm not sure if that's one of those glitch ones that might be removed later, but we won't concern ourselves with that. Just saw Cliffy run wide, so MaxiLuca putting the pressure on to enter Pouon for the first time. So just looking up there, Jamie's moved up to 9th, so at the moment QPR Beast with those points will be heading back towards the lead of the championship. No, he'll need second, I believe. So let's see. Top 3 very close. Pine and Joel's moved up to 5th. Greeny dropping from 2nd to 6th with that very audacious move at the inside, but unfortunately in these conditions he just didn't have the grip to make it stick, so unfortunately he lost a lot of places. So let's have a quick look. Lordyboy624 gained 3 places from the start. Sambamkid's fallen back to 4th and a long way behind. Shortbread, it's possible that Shortbread and Samba may have had a collision of some sort. Oh, and look at that, Louis having a little look down the inside. MaxiLuca and Pine is still right there. So extremely close, top of the field at the moment. Fastest lap irrelevant at this point. Now, will Louis think about a dive down the inside of MaxiLuca at La Source? No, not close enough. So Cliffy looking for his second race win of the season. Last time he was in pole position was at Canada on his F1 debut, and he won there. So it's been a good start for the Renault driver, but he's got some work to do, and it looks like MaxiLuca has a lot more straight line speed, or he's simply got a better exit from the top of Radion. Is MaxiLuca going to think about a move? No, he's going to just... MaxiLuca's not had a really strong result for a long time, and behind Joel under pressure from Greeny, and the top 4 already getting a significant gap to Joel. So Greeny will be ruining that mistake if he gets stuck behind this car. Look how close the top 3 are. Less than a second between the top 3. Kind of hoping it keeps this close for the whole race. Going through Pouon, and MaxiLuca struggling a little bit in the background. And that's going to put him under pressure. Now Louis is going to go for a move down the inside. MaxiLuca holds it on the outside, then switches back to the inside for the next corner. Let's head into the end of sector 2. So Cliffy pulling out a 1.1 second advantage, and MaxiLuca sliding all over the place. Oh, and behind, Joel having a moment, and Greeny gets by. And now he's going to be absolutely compromised for Blanchimont. This will allow Big C to close right on him. And ahead, MaxiLuca still under pressure by Louis. You can just see as they go into the final turn. If you enter lap 3, wet conditions of course, so no DRS at this stage. So back to the front of the race. Cliffy for Renault leads the race from MaxiLuca, who's looking like Cliffy for his second win of the season. He won the opener in impressive fashion at Bahrain, but since then hasn't really hit those heights. And then Louis, he's someone who's looking to get back on the podium. Had an absolutely brilliant start to the season. 2 second places and a victory at Russia, but then since then it's really not happened for him in terms of the points, and that's why he lost his championship lead. But he's running in third at the moment, so he'll be very happy with that. And here's Nick Pine, who's running in fourth, which would represent by far his best result of the season if he finishes there. But now that Greeny's got past Joel, the McLaren driver's going to have him to deal with, you would think, very shortly. So behind them, Joel in 6th place, now has Big C and Jamie right behind him, so we could see some good action between these guys in the midfield at the moment. So looking downhill, it looks like there may have been a few pit stops. Yeah, it looks like Jack-Lacey, Lordyboy, Shortbread and Sambamkid have all made lap 1 pit stops, I assume for wing damage. And that could compromise them later on, because if it's instance for the whole race, they'll all have to pit once, because I don't think the tyres will go 22 laps. So it could be touch and go, that because of a lap 1 stop that they'll have to come in again. So the top 5 as you were, but Big C looking to move up to 6th. And he lost the place at the start and Joel gained one, so Big C looking to get back on equal terms to where he started. So I'm just on my other screen having a look at the start. So yeah, oh, and Joel's has lost it. Did you just see? You see that he just lost the back end, and he's damaged the left part of his wing, and he'll have to pit. Oh no, stay back out, but Jamie and Big C get through. MaxiLuca sets the fastest lap of the race and closes back on to Cliffy, less than a second. Louis dropping back a bit, and now it's Nick Pine in the McLaren who's looking to challenge the 3rd place. So let's see what happens if they go up Eau Rouge. We'll keep an eye on the battle for the lead as well. And Pine gets a slightly better run out of there. He's got to look behind because Greeny is closing it. And now look at this. This is going to be a challenge for the final podium position. Who's going to be late on the brakes? That's a terrible camera angle. I will switch back. But it's much harder to get a move done on the outside in the wet, because you just don't have the space. And Louis holds the position for now. All of this is allowing Greeny to catch up. And Joel, with half his front wing missing, totally compromised in terms of his downforce. So to be honest with you, he should have pitted when he didn't. Lordyboy's in the pits again. Yeah, Lordyboy's in the pits again. And what is this for? Is this for another set? Oh, he's gone on softs. The dry already. Well, he's gambling on it. Yeah, the rain has stopped. I did see it had done, but I didn't think the transition would be that quick. Has anyone else made the gamble? Well, clearly not. Yeah, still the original 4 that pitted. So I guess for Joe it makes sense to stay out and just try and ease it off so you can do the wing change and the dry weather change. So it looks like we're definitely going to get some dry running in this race. So rundown of the order. Cliffy leads by 1.3 seconds from MaxiLuca in the Williams. Louis in the Toro Rosso in 3rd. Well, MaxiLuca just got a 3-second penalty. We just saw him cut. Oh, and he's gone. Oh, and he just misses the wall, but he's gonna lose place after place after place. It's like doing a left-hand turn at the junction, waiting for all the traffic to get by before it's clear, as any driving instructor would tell you. And Oogie pits from 7th position, and he's certainly going to go onto the dries. Let's see if anyone else is, apart from Yeah, only, let's see what he goes for. Yep, onto a set of soft tyres. No, super softs. So Ugi's going to try and undercut some of the people who stayed out. So let's go back to MaxiLuca. They're still on the... And look at this, Jamie looking for a move down the inside of Big C. Something must have happened. The Big C must have had a poor Eau Rouge and Radion. And Pine's been passed by Greeny as well. Joel and Shortbread in the pits as well for new tyres. I'm going to keep it on that screen for now so we can keep an eye on what's going on. So MaxiLuca losing second position with that incident at the end of Blanchimont into the bus stop. So that promotes Louis back up to second position in this Belgium Grand Prix. But now it looks like the conditions are now dry. So it looks like the leaders will have to pit very, very shortly. So as it stands, Louis will retake the lead of the PSGL F1 Championship table currently after 8 rounds. He needed 11 points. He needed 12 points to retake the lead of the championship, and that's what he has at the moment. DRS enabled, so it is now time to pit for dries, and drivers struggling now for grip. Oh, Greeny runs wide. And now can Pine do anything about Greeny and try and get in front of the Ferrari before they get to the pit stops? And Greeny, to his credit, gets an excellent run through Blanchimont. Just gives him no chance. So into the pits comes Cliffy from the race lead. And we're going to see an absolute hive of pit stops, but it's going to be very interesting. What tyres are people going to pick? Now of course Ugi pitted very early, so a lap before, and they're coming into the pits now. Super softs for Cliffy. Q5 goes on, and Big C, did he have to be double stacked? No, wasn't that badly affected, so I think he's okay. Jamie comes out of the pits as well. And now let's see if Ugi's gained any positions. Yes, he's got ahead of Big C, and now he's going to be running side by side with his teammate into Eau Rouge as they get up to speed. And Ugi takes the position from Jamie, although he did just fly straight out. He may have got a warning just then. And Paudie, Paudie stayed out an extra lap, but that might, well, he wasn't actually near to Pine, so, but yeah, he's going to be a sitting duck. But Cliffy has gained a lot of time out of that sort of transition. Well, unfortunately, Paudie, we're going to have to see how this goes, but he has stayed out a lap too long. Lordyboy sending the fast lap for two minutes. Oh, and Cliffy, did he hit the back of him just then? I think he was okay, but Cliffy retakes the lead, but Paudie clearly staying out too long. Greeny up to 4th, Pine up to 5th, Ugi up to 6th. Says he's on the softs, but on my screen he's on the super softs, so not sure what's going on there. Big C down to 8th, so Ugi undercut Jamie and Big C to move up the order. MaxiLuca down to 9th, started on in 2nd position, 3rd position rather, and he's dropped a long way back. And now Paudie going through Blanchimont. He's got a Ferrari right behind him. Is Greeny going to be cautious, or is he going to go lay on the brakes? No, he's going to go lay on the brakes, and nicely goes around the outside of struggling Paudie. So Paudie pits, the final intermediate runner to do so, and he's going to drop well back down the order, probably out of the points. So Cliffy has a 2.6 second advantage, Greeny further back. So main battle on track at the moment is the battle for 4th. McLaren is going to have his mirrors full of Haas machines and the Toro Rosso of Big C. So flying through Radion onto the Kemmel Straight, and Ugi is getting closer and closer. Rapid progress from the Haas. Pine will have to go defensive. Oh, sort of a bit of a late move from Pine. It didn't really, well, Ugi reacted to it and didn't damage his wing, thankfully. But yeah, a bit of a late move from Pine, but no harm done in the end. He's got Jamie and Big C right behind him. So Pine, who won this race last season in F1 in the 2016 era, He's got some real quality drivers behind him, and Shortbread gets a 3-second penalty. He's down in 12th position at the moment, really struggling. But I'd be interested to know how he got that 10-second penalty for corner cutting, because he seemed to be around where Sambamkid was. So Jamie looking to regain the lead of the championship today. He's currently 5 points behind, so if he could get 5th position, he would get there. Oh, and Louis gets a 3-second penalty, I've just seen, although he is currently 3 seconds ahead of Greeny, sorry. Cliffy sets the fast lap, and I think we'll see the fastest lap time tumbling down as the laps go on. So DRS opens for Jamie. Can he challenge his teammate? Will there be any team orders involved at the Haas team? And Big C, I think I might go on board from Big C's point of view. So flying down the straight and then into one of the best corners in Formula 1. Something you always hear everyone say, but it really is. And it's much steeper and ahead. Jamie now challenging Oogie for 5th position. But Oogie will have the inside line. Will he defend it too much? No, they give it an excellent amount of space. And now they go outside, and look at Big C. He's going to try and scavenge a place here from Oogie. And he keeps on the outside, and he'll have the inside for the next corner. Big C goes on the brakes. Oogie takes it back on the outside, and MaxiLuca is right behind him again. So we're seeing some good midfield action here. So Jamie will now chase after Pine to try and get some more points that would give him back the lead of the championship. So heading into Sector 2, lap 8 of the Belgium Grand Prix, the PSGL F1 division. And we got a long way to go. The track, such as it is, so easy to make mistakes. And now Big C going to go alongside Oogie into Blanchimont. But Oogie will keep the inside for the bus stop as long as he gets his braking right, and he does so. So Big C will have to wait a little longer, and with Oogie at DRS taking almighty time to go down the source. Oh, he had a little look, he had to think about it. Saw him steering the car in that direction, giving Oogie a little look just to put him off. But Oogie may be on the verge of falling out of DRS range of his teammate. And look at the speed that Big C is able to carry up through Radion onto the Kemmel Straight again on lap 9 of this race. Oogie goes defensive on the inside, he has no choice but to do so. Oh, and he's just... what happened there? He's ghosting. But he's back. Well, not sure what happened there, but he's just lost 2 places as a result. Sambamkid sets the fast lap for 1:47.605. So, Greeny is now within 3 seconds of Louis, who we know has a 3-second penalty, so he can close gap a little bit and keep it like that to the end of the race, then he could be on for 2nd place. And if that happens, that would deny Louis the opportunity to retake the lead of the championship, because he needed more than 11 points. 12 points for 2nd place would be sufficient to take it from Gamer, but 10 points would not be enough for QPR. And now Nick Pine running in a very solid 4th. I think he would take this if you offered it to him right now, but still not. We're not even a half distance of this race yet. But now Jamie has a bigger problem than chasing Pine on his hands, because now he's got the 7-time PSGL F1 champion right behind him, who's disposed of his teammate, as we saw the previous lap. And now he'll be looking to get past his old foe Jamie. The two have had some very close title battles in the past. So going up over Eau Rouge, then on to Radion, and onto the Kemmel Straight for the 10th time in this race. And Jamie doesn't defend the inside. So who's going to go out the brakes? And it's Big C goes there on the brakes, and he controls it expertly. Big C up to 5th. Don't count him out from getting on the podium. He's showing some really good race pace now that the weather has transitioned to dry. And it's actually brightening up. Could even be not overcast by the end. Big C runs a little wide. Not bad. Now MaxiLuca trying to recover after his big moment at the bus stop earlier in the race, which dropped him from 2nd all the way to the back end of the points. So at the moment Jamie is not doing enough to take the lead of the championship. 5 points would equal him. Shawbread gets another 3-second penalty, just adding to the ones he's already got, because Shawbread will have 5 points at the moment, which would equal him with Gamer, but Gamer has more victories than Jamie, so he'd still maintain the lead of the championship. 2.7 is now the gap, incidentally, between QPR and Greeny. Cliffy has a near 5-second gap, so he's sort of running away with it at the front, just as he did in Canada, actually. It's a very similar situation. Locking the tyres, Big C going to La Source. I think we could see a set of overtaking action, so let's go on board with MaxiLuca. And you see Big C closes the gap up El Rouge. That's a terrible camera view. Pine goes to the right, Big C to the left, late on the brakes, round the outside, and what a brilliantly executed move by Big C. He's up to 4th now. The hunt for the podium is on for the Toro Rosso driver. But Pine, I'm sure he'll be just sort of calmly going about his business. He's on for a good point score as it stands. Doesn't need to panic. So Pine. The thing that catches people at Pouon is not the curb, if you go, it's the green strip just on the outside of the curbs. If you try and spin the tyres up on that at those sort of speeds, that's when you crash. That's the stuff you have to avoid at all costs on that particular corner. So MaxiLuca unable to get through, and that's quite a nice view actually from that house. So Jamie defending 6th position from MaxiLuca, who was running as high as 2nd earlier in the race. And Greeny is now close to 2.2 seconds, so there could be a battle for 2nd place on track going on soon. I might actually go back to them. QPR's lost a lot of time all of a sudden. Why, I'm not sure. I think Jamie's getting DRS from Pines, that's keeping him ahead of MaxiLuca for now. Battle for 3. Is Greeny in it? No, he's dropped back a little bit. So main on track battle is for 5th position. Can Jamie get past Pine? Yes, he's closing, he's closing, he's closing, he's closing rapidly. Look at that straight line speed and the DRS combined. Jamie might get it done before the corner. Pine goes later on the brakes when he compromises his exit, but he has the position still. Goes on the grass a little bit. Will Pine think about a dive into Rivage? No, stays behind for now. And now Greeny is close to within less than a second of Louis. So at the moment, Louis is really not doing enough for that 2nd place. And at the rate he's dropping time, his teammate may take the other podium position, because he hasn't got any penalties as it stands. And as Gamefreaker makes the point that we've had no retirements so far, so touch wood, that will be the case at the end. Don't think there's been a single race this season where we haven't had a single retirement. So saying that, I've probably just caused a massive accident in the future, but hopefully I haven't given them the curse, so to speak. So Greeny now half a second behind the Toro Rosso of Louis. He'll be desperately trying to hold on to this 2nd place on track, but unless Greeny gets a penalty, Louis will be demoted to 3rd at least at the end of the race. There's gamerdabest maybe is missing this race, and he's possibly missing the other. Oh, and Pine has lost position to Jamie, and now he's got MaxiLuca right behind him. But I'm going to switch back to the battle between Greeny and Louis. Louis goes defensive, Greeny goes late on the brakes. This could get pretty feisty, ladies and gentlemen. And what about MaxiLuca? Can he get past? No. Still close between those two. And now MaxiLuca is going to go down for a dive behind. Down Rivage he goes. And MaxiLuca's back up to 6th, but now he'll give chase to Jamie again. Oogie's still there. Now if he is on super softs, he'll have to pit again. But again, it could be a graphical glitch because it says softs on the left hand side of the spectator screen. Oh, he runs wide and goes on that green strip, but luckily that's not the position where it really hurts you and throw you into the wall. It's more like an extra 50 meters in front of that point where he was. So Big C is now close to within 4.4 seconds, 4.5 rather, of Greeny and QPR. So QPR is certainly holding up Greeny now. So he's got to get past him soon. Gap between the top two now 7.1 seconds. So Cliffy, the Renault driver, looking very good for his second victory of the season, which would lift him, into the top, top 8 of the championship as it stands. MaxiLuca is now closing on Jamie as well. Don't think Greeny's going to be close enough on this lap to challenge Louis. Let's see the switch just in case. He's close. It's close. Will he think about a dive? No, he's just going to stick where he is. With MaxiLuca, this is the best opportunity I think he's had to get past Jamie. Jamie doesn't cover the inside, and MaxiLuca will have the advantage now down the inside, and he takes the position. And Oogie takes 7th position at the same time from Nick Pine. So Pine down to 8th position. But if he finishes in 8th and doesn't get penalties, he might get more, because Joel is a long way back. Although Paudie's running in the points despite staying out far too long on those enters, so he's on for points. So good result for McLaren if they can get both cars in the top 10. So Big C 4.5 seconds behind, hasn't made any further progress in terms of the gap. So the main battle track between Jamie and his teammate, because I suspect MaxiLuca, given the pace he's been showing, is going to disappear into the distance. There's enough laps for MaxiLuca if he's got more pace to maybe catch up to Big C. So it seems like through Blanchimont, Greeny has a lot of pace compared to Louis, so I think Louis is running a bit more wing to give him better grip in sector 2, because that's where Louis seems to always eke out the gap again. But it's very close again, so I think we're going to see once again an attempt by the Ferrari driver to get past. At the moment, Greeny's on for is easily his best result of the season. His best result to date was a 7th place in Russia, and he's very close now. He's going to be alongside straight away. Doesn't matter if Louis goes defensive, he could be through before they even get to the end of the corner. Will Louis dive back? And no, he simply couldn't. Such was the straight line speed advantage of the Ferrari. It was almost like it was a performance race rather than equal cars there. So Louis drops down to 3rd on track, and with the penalty, that's where he'll be for now. But he's got a 4.7 advantage to Big C, so he should still stay in 3rd if it finishes like this. Oh, he's hit. Oh, and he goes wide. Oh, get off that green strip. He had to ease off the gas there. Don't want to fire up the throttle there. Oh, and MaxiLuca has gone off at Pouon. He probably did what I described, and the other Williams just retired. I'll just see MaxiLuca off the track again. All that progress, and it's been for naught. And Lordyboy624 retired in the pits, so called it a day. And into the gravel goes MaxiLuca, no grip. compromise, and now Joel will be rapidly catching him up, so Paudie moves up to 7th again. Now the two Haas teammates will be engaging in combat. Sector 1 we have yellow flags. MaxiLuca out of the race. Lost it coming out sector 1. He might have done that out of rage, or he generally lost car. He didn't have any, he had all that gravel on the tyres, so both Williams out of the race. So unfortunately, looks like I did curse the race, but you know, if you take too much speed and pull on like MaxiLuca did, that is what you risk. You go slightly wide, the car, you're just a passenger. Such as the low wing setups, leaves you vulnerable to that. So Paudie and Jamie once again engaging in an inter-team rivalry here. We've seen them do this exchange position several times, and Jamie again not defending the inside, giving his teammate the best opportunity to pass. Don't know if Jamie's struggling with some sort of problem or tyre wear issues, because he's been unusually compliant in his defending. So Oogie up to 5th, ahead of his teammate. It's a good result for Haas as it stands, but so 1.3 second gap between Greeny and QPRBs. Big C is now close, we're in 3.5 seconds though of Louis. So Louis's got to get a move on. He's got to find some pace somewhere, because he's going to drop off the podium. As it stands, gamerdabest, despite being absent from this race, will still maintain the lead of the championship. So back to the battle for 5th. One of Oogie's going to get away from his teammate, or is Jamie going to catch him up again, and we're going to see another battle between these two down the ridge. We'll stick with them for a bit, just going to have a look. See, wow, Sambamkid's made 3 pit stops already, 2 each for xJackLacey and Shortbread. Everyone else on the one-stop strategy. Big C, if he can find some real pace, Zeus may even have a chance of 2nd, because Greeny's not that far down the road. So Jamie onto the Kemmel straight again. He's got DRS open. He's not really closing enough to get past his teammate again. And this is the main battle on track right now. Pine in 7th. Just keeping a watching brief. If there was any contact between the two teammates, Pine would be up to 5th. So yeah, it's been a very solid performance from Pine today. And a pretty good qualifying, and he's just done a very good job. Has lost positions from the start to faster cars, but I think Pine would probably admit that he's not one of the quickest on the grid at the moment, but he is on for a very good point score here. And his teammate has moved up to 9th thanks to MaxiLuca's retirement. I'm not sure how often they've both scored. Only a handful of races, I'd imagine. So the gap between Louis and Big C now just above that 3 second window. Locks the tyres again. So the Haas cars, certainly fastest lap belongs to Greeny, 1:47.518 at this moment in time, which I suspect may not be beaten, given that most of the field are now running on old soft tyres. So the gap between first and last position on track, Shortbread, is over just under 1:20. So can Pine close on these two Haas's and get past them, or is he going to settle? Jamie's not letting his teammate get away. Bit of bragging rights to the Haas team is on the line, so race sort of quieting down a little bit. Lap 18 of this PSGL Belgium Grand Prix. We've seen some excellent action early on in the race, in the midfield especially, and Sambamkid goes 1.6, 1 he switched to the ultra soft, so he's going to take the consolation prize of the fastest lap. That's what he's looking for. I wonder if anyone else like Shortbread will come in and do the same thing. Yep, Shortbread's done exactly the same thing. Might as well have a bit of fun with some ultra softs for the end of the race when you're outside the points and that far behind. Shortbread gets yet another penalty. I'd be very interested to know how many penalties Shortbread has now. By my count, that's at least 19 seconds worth. He had a 10-second, and I think he's had 3 seconds 3 times on the screen have popped up. Sambamkid gets another one. So I don't know if they're trying to set the fastest lap by cutting corners, but hey, if they want to go rallying when they're outside the points, they can do what they like. So Louis responded to Big C a little bit. He's now put the gap back above 3 seconds. It had dropped under for a lap. I think the 7-time champion would love to catch up to Louis and pass him. So Greeny with a 2.3 second gap to Louis. So second place, first podium of the season. And Ferrari's second podium of the season after xJackLacey got one in Spain. So I think this would be a real, a very, very return to form. So after the thrilling race of Britain and all the chaos of Hungary, it's been a more sedate race here at Spa-Francorchamps today. So Cliffy looking for his second victory of the season to join Gamer on 2 victories in PSGL this season. So we're not going to get our 7th different winner today by the looks of it, unless someone makes a critical mistake on old soft tyres. Louis has a 3-second penalty, if memory serves me right. I don't believe Big C has one, so at the moment, as it stands, Big C will be claiming the final podium position. Oogie edging away from his teammate, 1.1 seconds, and Pine is still in the hunt for that 6th place. And Joel running in 8th. His teammate Iran absent today, but Sauber getting some good points here. And Paudie running in 9th, and xJackLacey unfortunately had to make a lap 1 wing change. And he's running in 10th, well ahead of Sambamkid and Shortbread, who make up the rest of the field. Both Williams out of the race. Lordyboy had some sort of incident on the first lap, and then he had to make several pit stops, just struggling with the intermediates conditions. So he retired in the pits, and then MaxiLuca binned it a pull on, and then finally binned it at the end of sector 2. So miserable day for Williams' team. So let's see, is Pine any closer? Pine's not really had that great straight line speed all day. So looks like possibly the only chance of a real battle might be Big C catches up to Louis on track. But we're on lap 20 now. It's 2.5 second gap, so unless Louis makes a big mistake, I don't see that happening. But I think these are good points for Louis though, because if Gamer is absent next week, he will be at least a bit closer to gamerdabest at the top of the PSGL F1 Championship. So we'll be interviewing the top 3 after the race as usual, of course. From what you've seen, those watching, let us know who you think your driver of the day is in the chat. I'd probably given the struggles he's had all season, I'd probably give it to Greeny, because he had a poor start, but he recovered from that up to second place, and he's driven a really good race, I think. I think Big C's given us some really good on-track entertainment in terms of his overtakes, but that's Big C, that's to be expected from a 7-time PSGL champion. But I think Greeny has really earned his second place today. Goes for Eau Rouge rather carefully. Understandable given the result he's about to get. Big C now close to him, 1.8 seconds. Wait a minute. Oh, there's spots of rain coming down on the penultimate lap of the race. Well, that is unexpected. Will it affect any of the runners out there? It probably won't, unless it drops really hard. Could have a monsoon situation right at the end of the race here at Spa. It started in the rain. I thought it was going to be dry for the rest of the race, but clearly not. It's not falling that hard at the moment, so it should be okay, but they've all got to be careful, because even a small amount of rain like this can affect the temperatures of the tyres. So you want to just keep it on the between the white lines, even more so than you normally would. And maybe that's why suddenly Louis is now being closed on by Big C, so there could still be a battle yet. So get on board with Cliffy, get this nice high shot view as he goes through the bus stop for the penultimate time. Cliffy for Renault. What a career in F1 he's had. He started with a victory in Canada, then a second place at Britain in that classic battle with Ollie of the Red Bull, who unfortunately couldn't continue in F1, missed out on the rugby. Only got a point last time out in Hungary after a very chaotic race for him, but he took pole position by the narrowest of margins. Now he's looking very good for the race victory. Cliffy goes through El Rouge, no problem. What does Greeny do as the rain comes down? No one's going to pit now, far too late for that. Greeny gets through El Rouge, absolutely fine. What does Louis do? No problem. Big C, no problem. Will anybody bin it on the last lap? Don't think the rain's going to fall hard enough to affect the grip levels that much. It has added a slight twist to proceedings here. If this had come a few laps earlier, wow, it would have put the drivers in a very awkward position, because if you pit, you lose that time. Can you gain it back? So Cliffy goes through Pouan, takes a very tight line, and slowest corner in speed, doesn't have to take a risk. Greeny going slightly wide. And it looks like the top three will be maintained, although running wide in sector 2, I think the rain is really coming down now. Gaps dropped down to 8 seconds between the top two, but that shouldn't matter in the end. Big C can see his teammate, should be in range now. Cliffy goes through the bus stop for the last time. Around the final corner, and Pine has lost the place to Joel on the final lap. And Cliffy takes the victory at Spa for Renault. Second win of the season. And Greeny rounds the final corner. He's finally got it right, and he's on the podium. Second place. Louis crosses the line in third place, but will he stay there? Oh, Big C's run out of fuel. So Louis, 2.9 behind. Maybe he got a penalty somewhere. But Big C ran out of fuel. Did that cost him a place on the podium, I wonder? Oogie takes 5th, Jamie 6th. 7th position for Joe, it looks like. Greeny ran out of fuel just after the race. Pine finishes 8th in the end, and his teammate should cross the line in 9th, and he does indeed. And XJackLacey should take the final point of the race. I'm sure the drivers were grateful the rain didn't come a lap or two earlier, because I think that would have created a very interesting position. XJackLacey crossed the line and leaves immediately, thoroughly fed up with life. But there's always another race, as they say. Yeah, Simo makes a good point. Big C may have held off to help Louis in the championship. That's something I will certainly speak to Louis about. For some reason, Paudie's car stopped on the track. So, we await the presentation. We hope you had a entertaining time watching this race. Certainly had its moments. But it's Cliffy who takes the victory for Renault ahead of Greeny in the Ferrari, and Louis in third place, reigniting his title bid with that result. Probably would have wished he'd got second, but just didn't quite have the pace today to get it. But Cliffy, my word, if he'd been here from the start of the season, it's certainly not unreasonable to think he would be a title challenger, maybe for next season, or even this season, who knows. But he takes the maximum points here today at Belgium, and congratulations to him. And Greeny takes second, Louis in third, and that theory that Simo came out with looks more, although the gap is actually less than 3 seconds on the timing screen, so not sure how that's worked out. Oogie in 5th, Jamie in 6th, Joel in 7th, Pine in 8th, Paudie in 9th, and XJackLacey finishing in 10th, Sam Kenshawbred, the only other 2 finishers.